Welcome to Discover Your Avatar. I am so excited that you are here. This short masterclass is going to align you to your avatar so that you can start stepping into your true essence of being a high value woman. Now, I know that the reason why you came here is because you keep attracting what you don't want, the wrong relationships, the wrong job, and you're just ready for more. You're ready to feel expansive in your life. You're ready to have something that excites you every day. And you're tired of feeling like you're lost at sea. And the reason why I say that is because I am you. I experienced that my 20s, I was seeking external validation. In my 30s, I got married and I became last. In my 40s, I felt invisible. In my 50s, I found myself again. And I've been on this crazy journey, putting the pieces together to figure out how it all evolved. So when I first entered into this realm of astrology and spirituality, it came in the package of the moon. See, the moon is goddess energy. She is the divine feminine, and she wanted to work with me. So you might find some videos out there on the internet about me talking about the moon. And that is because the moon represents the seasons of your life. So you have the maiden when you're in your earlier 20s, you know, 20s, 30s, and then you are in your mother stage season in your life, and then you become the crone, which is the wise woman. You take everything that you learned from those years, and then you share your wisdom. And that is where the moon was trying to get me. She was trying to have me open myself up to understand that my wisdom was ready to be shared. And I resisted it for a very long time. And I really needed to understand what was it that I was supposed to share. And so for me, I have a lot of experience when it comes to relationships and how we put ourselves last, because that was me. And when I started working with the moon's energy, I started realizing how out of sync I really am and how out of flow I really was. And see, we're divine nature and we're here to connect with the essence of the flow. But the industrial age kind of took us off the path of thinking we were machines. And so I had reached burnout in my business, and I needed to do something desperately to get me out of that. And that's what took me on this journey. So as I worked with the moon, then Goddess Ishtar appeared, and Goddess Ishtar appeared as the orange flame in a meditation. If you know anything about the color orange and chakras, orange represents your sacral chakra, and that is where you give birth to things. It's where your passion lies, which you'll find it below your belly button, exactly where your uterus is and where you do literally give birth. And she showed up as the eight-pointed star after she showed up as the orange flame in a meditation. And during a dream, as an eight-pointed star, she was floating over my uterus and she kept saying, "Remember who you are. Remember who you are." And even to the point where I had a dream where it was Stella, 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 which means star. So I was like, okay, I get it. I know that the sun and the moon are the brightest luminaries in the sky, but you want me to learn about the stars. So, if you know anything about Goddess Ishtar, she is the goddess of Mesopotamia, and she's the goddess of love, war, and the underworld. And so I needed to go to the depths of the underworld before I could show up here and even have this conversation with you. And that was me um, doing the shadow work. Okay. The rug was pulled from underneath me, which you would call the dark night of the soul, in order to sit me down and start investing in myself. Because I didn't realize I was giving my power away. I didn't realize I was giving my energy away. So, with that backstory, now you understand why I'm here talking to you about discovering your avatar and how you can start living a life feeling more aligned. Now, Venus is the representation of the eight-pointed star, which is Goddess Ishtar's symbolism, which is why I was led to this work. And Venus happens to be the uh, the planet that rules over the seventh house in your natal chart. And the seventh house of your natal chart is the house of relationships. So, can you see how the pieces of the puzzle have been slowly but surely put together for me? And then the kicker of it is that my sun, which is the brightest luminary in the cosmos, is in Leo, but it is in the seventh house. So after studying my natal chart, I understood that I was exactly where I needed to be. But the first thing that got me there was to understand who I was as the player in my game. The universe, my spirit team, showing me that life is literally a game and you are the player. And until you understand who your avatar is, you are always going to put yourself last because you're living your life by default. You don't know what your yeses and your nos are. And because you don't know what your yeses and nos are, you say yes to everything. And if we don't know how to balance it within, we are not going to balance it externally. And that is because everything that we see in our reality is a manifestation of what's going on inside. So I am just so excited to have you here and for you to really dive into this masterclass to get to know yourself better. And congratulations for saying yes to this investment of time, because I know time is the only commodity that you can't get back. So let's just get started. Okay, so this Discover Your Avatar Masterclass is to help you discover your big three placements and your Venus. What are your big three? It's your sun, your moon, your rising, and then, of course, your Venus. Because your rising sign is how people see you, your moon is what you feel the strongest about and your most vulnerable emotional part of who you are. And then the sun is here, what you're mastering to become more confident as. And then your Venus, of course, is the planet of love. So it is how you love. It's also about your aesthetic and how you want to appear in life, and also falling in love with your life according to your astrological blueprint. So this is going to help you find your authenticity and to navigate with clarity and confidence. Now, here's what we're going to be going over. Understanding your natal chart placements. And we talked about what those placements we are going over in this masterclass. We're also going to talk about each zodiac sign, the archetype that they are, and where they're in alignment and out of alignment. And then you're going to discover what your avatar is. And after you discover your avatar, you've got to embody the high value woman of this avatar. And then the last, we're going to integrate. Going to talk about how you can integrate this energy into you so you can start showing up as the high value woman. And then there is going to be a bonus at the end where I'm going to take you through a closing guided meditation so that it can enhance your magnetism and really hone in everything that you have learned in this mini masterclass. Now, you hear me say this all the time. Life is a game and you're the avatar playing it. But, somewhere down the line, you forgot who you are. And the reason why you forgot who you are is because when we go down that birth canal, we forget that we have a blueprint that we brought with us. And that is your true creation, right? It is what creates your reality, this blueprint that you were given. And it sets the stage for this journey that you're on. And you have to remember that you are the player, but you're also the architect of everything in your reality. So in this masterclass, we'll use your natal chart as a blueprint to uncover the kind of player you are in your game. Now, you'll learn the foundational symbols and the meaning of the big three and Venus. And then we'll also explore the psychological astrology, meaning it's the psychology behind the natal chart, not so much mundane astrology, which is about prediction and what's going on in the world, or even predictive astrology, like what the transits say about what's going to happen in your life. This is mainly to get to understand who you are as the avatar according to your blueprint and your highest path. And by the end of these modules, you will clearly understand your astrological placements and what they reveal about you. This is your first step in mastering the game of life. You are a star. Humans are of stardust. The very essence of stars in the elements in our bodies were forged in the heart of the cosmos and scattered across the universe. Remarkably, about 99% of our being consist of the six essential elements, which are carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, calcium, and phosphorus. And they are found in the galaxy. So it's pretty wild that you have the same, and me have the same makeup of our galaxy. The day you were born, you were assigned a blueprint from the cosmos. And this blueprint is similar to a software. And this software program includes your innate qualities, your characteristics, your emotional wounds, your intuition, your values, your gifts, and your challenges, even your challenges. And these magical nuances create an emotional vibration that surrounds you. And it's called your aura. That's the same reason why you can walk into a room and you can read somebody's energy to know if you like them, if they're safe or they're not safe. It's because their auric field is constantly communicating with their surroundings. It's why you keep attracting the things that you don't want, because when you don't understand your avatar, you're out of balance. And so your vibration, which reaches out far, far away from your actual physical body, is attracting people and places and things to you according to the frequency that you are holding. And the thing that really affects your vibration is your emotions. So this is this energetic code, this software, but your aura can get contaminated by environmental variables. And I like to call those bugs or glitches. And so these bugs or glitches that you hold into your auric field come from trauma, from limiting beliefs, from karmic the karmic energy that you brought into this lifetime, as well as, like mean things that people say to you or the energy around you. That's why it's so important to cleanse your energy on a daily basis, because you can be bringing somebody else's energy home with you. So it's really important because in this game, the object is for you to remove the glitches, these limiting beliefs, and this trauma that's holding you back to be your complete and whole version of yourself. The first step is understanding who you are as the avatar in your game. Avatar is your spirit that descended to the earth from the stars as a deity. And that means deity means divine nature. So it is your divine nature that you are here navigating this earthly plane with. And you arrived on Earth encoded with information from your heavenly bodies in the galaxy. In the 19th century, scientists confirmed that humans are made of the same materials as stars. And among them was an American astronomer named Carl Sagan, who was famous for saying we are made of star stuff. And then Elizabeth Howe wrote a paper on that there was about this study that happened of 150,000 stars. And they found that humans and their galaxy share about 97% of the same atoms. Now, when you think of your body, each cell in your body holds over 100,000 trillion atoms. Why wouldn't you believe that the galaxy resides in you? And here's something else you want to consider. Carl Jung, he's a Swiss psychiatrist. He has a theory about archetypes, and his theory is that archetypes are not learned, they're innate. And you can find out more about his work. I happen to put in this clip about on Wikipedia if you're interested, because I was very interested in Carl Jung's work. He came on my path because not only does he study astrology, archetypes, and tarot, but he coined the phrase synchronicity and shadow work. So he's very important for you to understand his work on your self-discovery journey. So let's just talk about the Babylonians. They divided the sky into 12 equal sections around 500 BCE. And the ancient Greeks named the 12 signs after constellations and linked them to specific dates. Mythology is associated with many stars and constellations. So there is just so much going back to BCE, which means that what I'm talking about is ancient wisdom. And you remember this because you're a star and it is encoded in your DNA. But like I said, you forgot. And so what I'm sharing with you today is ancient wisdom. And so when we talk about Carl Jung, his theory of archetypes aligns closely with astrology, particularly the zodiac signs, as both explore universal patterns of human behavior, personality, and the unconscious mind. Jung believed that symbols, myths, and archetypal energies shape our psychological development, much like how astrology interprets the influence of the celestial bodies on human nature. So, the difference between an avatar and an archetype is that an avatar is a visual or symbolic representation, often embodying a specific identity. And an archetype is a universal pattern of a personality, behavior, or experience found in the collective unconscious. An avatar is more like a character or a persona. So even when you think about playing a game, your avatar is like your token that you pick on a board game, and that's who you're playing as. It's a character you're playing. And then we have your archetype, which represents a fundamental human essence that transcends individuals. So one of the archetypes that I want to talk about is the femme fatale archetype. And we're going to talk about one of my favorite icons, and that is Brigitte Bardot. So Brigitte Bardot was an avatar of beauty, sensuality, and rebellion in the 20th century. She visually represented the ideal of a free spirit. So I guess that's why I was attracted to her, because my Aquarius rising, my authentic code is freedom. And she was also a glamorous woman, and she captivated and allured others, but she was also very independent. And she had this hypnotic power. That's why men just fell in love with her. And then, although she was unique, the archetype that she represented was the femme fatale. And we see this archetype in characters like Cleopatra and Marilyn Monroe. Bridget Bardot's natal chart is perfectly aligned with the femme fatale archetype. It embodies She embodies a blending charm, sensuality, and rebellious independence. So let's just go over her placements that we're going to be talking about yours in the next module. So her Libra sun, that's her sun sign, gave her innate grace, beauty, and magnetism. Libra is ruled by Venus, and that's why we're talking about this Venus energy, because in order to become a high value woman, you need to be more magnetic. Then you stop chasing, you start attracting. So the planet of love, Venus is the planet of love and aesthetics, which made her a natural icon of romance and femininity. Femininity. I don't know why that's such a tongue twister for me. Yet Libra is also strategic in relationships and always aware of how to use charm to influence others, reinforcing her allure. Now let's talk about her moon sign. She's a Gemini moon, which is very playful and flirtatious and intellectually curious. So this made her even more intriguing because her airiness gave her an adaptable and youthful energy, making her a symbol of ever-changing, free-spirited woman. Here's a fun fact, or here's a few fun facts. Bridget Bardot is the one that put the bikini on the map. She's also the one that really stood for women to embrace their sensual side without shame. And another little fun fact is I was born in France and my mother was born in Paris. And in school, they had boarding schools, which it's just like a dorm. And Bridget Bardot was my mother's roommate for a short period of time. Not why I'm so attracted to her. There's something about her energy. She just has that je ne sais quoi, is what I like to say. You just can't figure it out. But she also is a Sagittarius rising, which is a fire sign, which really amplifies that untamed, adventurous, and rebellious persona. She's independent and she's unafraid to break the rules. And that's very Aquarian energy as well. Um, she defied societal's expectation. And one of those things is she refused to film in the United States. She only wanted to film, even though she was known as like this big movie star, she only would film in France. Whether acting, whether in her acting career or her personal life, or later as an activist, which now she's an animal activist, this placement gave her an untouchable, wild-hearted essence, making her more than just another beauty icon. So let's just find out where her Venus is. Her Venus happens to be in Virgo, which is a very contrasting energy from all of that freedom, fire, fighting, rebellious energy, because, Virgos are very analytical. But this Venus helped her to refine and to be very subtle. And she was very selective and critical as how and that's how she understated her sensuality. Rather than being overtly indulgent, the placement made her beauty feel effortless, sophisticated, and naturally alluring. That's why you knew that she knew her archetype and who her avatar is, because she made a brand out of herself. Despite her sex symbol status, she had an analytical and discerning approach to love, craving authenticity over surface level romance. So in this way, Bardot wasn't just an avatar of beauty. She is the embodiment of the femme fatale archetype, a woman who mesmerized, seduced, and challenged societal norms. While maintaining the air of mystery and independence, her chart reflects the balance of charm, playfulness, and rebellion, making her an enduring symbol of feminine power. And you have those qualities as well. So we are going to go over in the next module. I'll see you over there. We're going to go over how you're going to find what your archetype is and your placements and how they build your avatar so you can start being the high value woman who is the player, the main character in her game, and who attracts and doesn't chase. I'll see you soon.